They said love conquers all. But what happens when love is shackled by prejudice, when the person you vow to cherish becomes the one you despise, only because of the color of their skin? This is not just a love story. It's a story of cruelty, patience, sacrifice, and redemption. Daniel was a man everyone in his small town respected. Tall, fair-skinned, and from a family of old traditions, he was raised with pride in his heritage. To the world, he was charming and responsible. But behind the closed doors of his home, pride twisted into poison. His wife, Amara, was everything he was not. She was kind where he was cruel, patient where he was short-tempered, and forgiving where he was harsh. Her skin was the color of deep bronze, glowing beautifully under the sun. Her eyes held warmth like a gentle fire, but her presence was constantly dimmed by her husband's disdain. Daniel had married her not out of choice, but out of rebellion. Years ago, when his parents had pressured him into marrying a wealthy woman from his own race, he had impulsively chosen Amara instead, partly to shock them, partly to prove he could make his own decisions. At first, he convinced himself it was love. But soon, when the novelty faded, resentment crept in. The whispers of neighbors didn't help. "Why her?" they said. "Why not someone of your own kind?" And though Daniel would never admit it, those voices fed the anger in his heart. Amara bore his coldness in silence. Mornings would begin with him ignoring her greetings, evenings would end with him criticizing her cooking, her accent, or even her laughter. "You'll never fit here," he once spat when she tried to host his friends. "They're only being polite, but they look at you like a stranger." Amara swallowed her tears. She prayed quietly at night, whispering for strength. Her friends often asked her why she endured. Her answer was always the same. Because love is patient. Because love believes. One day, he will see me for who I am, not what I look like. One stormy evening, their argument escalated. Daniel accused her of embarrassing him in front of his colleagues when she had spoken confidently during dinner. "You should know your place," he shouted. "You're lucky I even brought you into this house." The words cut deeper than any blade. For the first time, Amara's eyes welled with anger instead of sadness. She turned away, refusing to reply, and that silence haunted Daniel more than any response. But still, his pride was stronger than his guilt. Days passed with barely a word between them. It was late one night when it happened. Daniel had gone out drinking with some friends. On his way home, as the rain poured heavily, his car skidded off the road and crashed into a ditch. Metal twisted around his legs, pain shot through his body, and water began to rise inside the wrecked vehicle. Panic set in. He screamed for help, but the road was deserted. The rain drowned out his cries. He thought it was the end. But then, through the storm, he saw a figure running, her figure. Amara. She had stayed up waiting for him, worried as always, and when he didn't return, she went searching. She didn't hesitate. She rushed into the freezing water, clawing at the twisted door with bare hands. Her fingers bled, her body shivered, but she refused to stop. "Hold on, Daniel," she cried, her voice breaking. "I won't let you go." With all her strength, she freed him, dragging his unconscious body out just as the car sank deeper. She pressed her hands against his chest, calling his name until he coughed up water and gasped for air. Daniel's blurred vision cleared to see her face, soaked, exhausted, yet filled with desperate love. Lying in the hospital the next morning, Daniel replayed the night in his head. The image of Amara's trembling hands pulling him from death refused to fade. Why would she risk everything for him? After all the cruelty, after all the insults, why? When Amara entered the room, carrying water for him, he couldn't look her in the eyes. For the first time, shame replaced pride. "I don't deserve you," he whispered hoarsely. She placed the glass on the table. "It's not about deserving, Daniel. It's about love. And love is stronger than hate." Her words struck him deeper than his injuries. Recovery gave Daniel time to reflect. He thought of all the nights she cried silently, all the moments he humiliated her, and all the kindness she returned in exchange for cruelty. One evening, as she helped him walk for the first time after the accident, he stopped her. "Amara," he said softly, his voice trembling. "Forgive me. For every harsh word. For every cruel look. For every time I made you feel less than who you are." She looked at him, stunned. Daniel's eyes were wet with tears, real tears, not of pain but of regret. "I was blind," he continued. "I let the world's poison live in me. But you showed me what love really means. You saved my life, not just from death, but from myself." Amara's lips trembled as she smiled faintly. "Then let this be a new beginning." From that day, Daniel changed. He became gentle, attentive, and proud of his wife. When people whispered, he no longer stayed silent, he defended her with pride. "She is my strength," he would say boldly. "She is my heart." Neighbors who once gossiped began to notice. They saw the transformation in Daniel, and slowly, they too began to change their attitudes. His colleagues admired Amara's wisdom and kindness. And for the first time, she felt seen, not as an outsider, but as the remarkable woman she was. Years later, Daniel would tell his children the story of that night. "I used to believe skin color mattered," he confessed. "I was wrong. What truly matters is the heart, the soul, and the love we give each other. Prejudice nearly destroyed me, but love saved me." Amara would smile quietly, holding his hand, knowing that her patience had not been in vain. Racism builds walls. Love tears them down. Cruelty blinds, but compassion opens eyes. And sometimes, it takes almost losing everything to see the value of what we already have. Because love, true love, knows no color.